So let's talk about our two terms, angle of elevation and angle of depression. And to understand them, we need to first understand where our eyes are looking when they are at a rest position, so default position for them. So looking at my wonderful diagram of an eyegram of the eye is always looking straight as a horizontal line as a default for us. So when we talk about measuring any angle, we measure from this line, whether you look up or you look down. Okay, so from this normal line, so this is a rest line for us, whenever we talk about an angle of elevation, you talk about looking up. So the line of sight would be from here, where you would be normally looking at, and then I say, hey, look at the sun up there in the sky. You would have to move your eyes line side up to go look up then. So what happened here is you moved from the rest position to this line right here. So that is called angle of elevation. Okay, so angle of elevation for a lot of times for us in the beginning in a question is usually right at the ground level. So then they will say a dog is looking up at the top of the tree. So we just consider the dog's eyes are right on the floor for the sake of keeping it simple. So because it's looking up at a tree, then that will become the angle of elevation right here. Okay. Later on, we would be looking at when you're on, let's say, sitting on top of one building and looking at the top of another building. So that situation comes a little bit later. So consider that to be your normal line of sight, the horizontal line, right? And then you're sitting right here and you're looking up to look at the top of the building. So you'll always consider it from that invisible horizontal line of sight. So this is angle of elevation. What happens when you're looking down somewhere? So from that same line of sight, let's say you're in a higher place now and you're looking down at an object. So your normal line, side of line is again this one, the horizontal line. Now that has to move down. So it will be looking down at an object. Whoops, that didn't quite hit the mark. So when you're looking down from your line of sight, that is called angle of depression. Depression means down. Okay, so most of the time this angle is outside of our interested diagram. So for example, you'll say now you're sitting on top of the tree. It could be a bird, right? And it's looking at the dog sitting down here. So the bird's, again, line of sight is this straight line, and it will turn down to look at the dog. So that's the dog right there. So this is the angle of elevation. But the diagram that we make with the tree and the dog and the bird would be right here. So it's right over here. So we need to learn how to, using this angle, find an angle inside the triangle. Okay, so the next examples are going to actually talk about this. So in your book also, you have this definition given to you on page 228. It says the angle of elevation is measured upwards from the horizontal. So here's a boat. This is its horizontal line, the line of vision. And if from the boat you're looking up, so that's the angle of elevation of the helicopter from the boat. Okay, now for depression then, if somebody from the helicopter was looking down onto the boat, so the helicopter also has a horizontal line of vision and it looks down, so that's the angle of depression right there. Okay, now one good thing you can know is that inside that triangle there's two things you can do in there that I was talking about, and I'm going to show them to you in other examples. If it doesn't quite make sense to you right away, don't worry about it. So let's say that helicopter's angle of depression was 30 degrees, but we are making a triangle here because that's the information given to us. Then we can always find this angle, because altogether this also is 90. So this angle here would be 90 minus 30. So that's 60 degrees. Okay. Now, if you think about it, in a triangle, we just found out that this angle is 60. This is 90. Then that means this is also going to be 30, because they have to add up to 180. So 180 minus the 90 minus the 60 is 30 degrees. So really the angle of depression actually ends up being equal to the angle of elevation. So we're going to do some questions and we're going to see whichever way you like to do. You can keep using this 60, or you can go a step ahead and find the angle of elevation, which is 30 as well. It will be up to you when we do our other examples. Okay, so let's actually apply this to the example number 2 and onwards.